everyone, we are the group 3 and this is our topic. Topic 5.6, Supply Type or Constructed Response Type. Another useful device for testing lower order thinking skills is the supply type of test. Like the multiple choice test, the items in this kind of test consist of a stem and a blank where the students would write the correct answer. Constructed response questions are assessment items that ask students to apply knowledge, skills, and critical thinking abilities to real world. Standards-driven performance tests, sometimes called open response items. Constructed response questions are so named because there is often more than one way to correctly answer the question, and they require students to construct or develop their own answers without the benefit of any suggestions or choices. Supply items are a name given to certain types of assessment questions. Supply items are named this way because students are asked to supply the answer to a question, rather than selecting or choosing an answer to a question. Sometimes, assessments contain supply item questions that have one correct answer. The simplest forms of constructed response questions are fill in the blank or short answer questions. For example, the questions may take one of the following forms, which is, who was the 16th President of the United States? Or, the 16th President of the United States was blank. These assessments are relatively easy to construct, yet they have the potential to test recall. Rather than simple recognition, they also control for guessing, which can be a major factor, especially for true or false or multiple choice questions. Fill in the blank test. This is a test format where students are given a statement with a blank, and they are required to fill it in with the most appropriate answer possible. It requires mostly the remembering level of Bloom's taxonomy, and if well designed, a question can test higher order thinking. This test consists of a stem and a blank where the students would write the correct answer.
Good day, everyone. I am Maria Malida Embañez, and for today, I will discuss to all of you about completion type of test. By the way, what is completion type of test? Completion type of test, it is the most structured or constructed response items, and it is all offers to freedom and to giving a response. The test items is presented in a sentence by in which a word, a numbers, a series of words, or a symbols that has been met. And they have four advantages of completion type of test. First, easier to prepare and less time consuming. And second, popular and widely used. And third, there is no scope of guesswork and such as they are more reliable. And fourth, such items can measure and both knowledgeable and comprehensions by the subject matter. The possible construct of completion type of test is ordered to thinking as following examples are. First example is write an appropriate synonym for each of the following. To each response is a letter, so the first word is metamorphose and the second word is flourish. So the appropriate synonym for the word is change, and they have 6 letters, and the second synonym for the word grow, and they have 4 letters.
The following guidelines can help you formulate a completion type of test. Guideline number 1. Avoid over-mutilated sentences. Mutilated in Tagalog means pinutol-putol. Moreover, we should give enough clue to the students. Guideline number 2. Avoid open-minded item. There should be only one acceptable answer. Opinionated answer are invalid in this case. Guideline number 1 example. The blank produced by the blank is used by the green blank to change the blank and blank into blank. This process is called blank. So, in this example, this has shown more clues than expected. Guideline number 2 example. Ernest Hemingway wrote blank while William Wordsworth wrote blank. So in this test item or example, this is not a good test item because it is an open-minded question or item. Guideline number 3. The blank should be at the end or near the end of the sentence. The question should be asked before the answer is expected. Like the matching type of test, the stem where the question is packed must be in the first column. So, from the books, modules, and textbooks, in the original structure, the main idea is at the beginning of the sentence, and when making a completion type of test, which is fill in the blanks, the main idea or the answer should be at the end of the sentence or question. Guideline number 4. Ask questions on more significant item, not on trivial matter. From the word significant, we should ask questions that has an important or valuable answer, and not those unimportant things or irrelevant. There are other more significant items to ask, other specific date, parliamentary, presidential, or federal. Guideline number 5. The length of the blanks must not suggest the answer, so better to make the blanks in uniform in size. If we standardize the length of the blanks that is not suggesting the answer, we can analyze the student if he or she is good at memorization or remembering the lesson. Guideline number 3 example. In its original structure, completion type of test is classified as one of the supply types or constructed response types of test. So, the main idea here is the completion type of test. So, in new structure or restructured, classified as one of the supply types or constructed response types of test is completion type of test. So the main idea or the answer in the new structure, it is at the end of the sentence or the test item. Guideline number 4 example. Jose Rizal was born on blank 1861. So the date of the day when Rizal was born is a significant matter. It is significant matter because we consider Jose Rizal as our national hero. So his biography is important to our history. Guideline number 5 example. A part of speech that names persons, place, and things is blank. It is also what may become of a verb trust when is added with suffix ee to become blank. Verb drive added with suffix er to become drive, to become blank. And verb bombard added with suffix meant to become blank. So in this case scenario, or in this test item, the length of the blank are in uniform. They are the same in length. They are standardized. So it is a good test item.
Good day everyone, I am Kate Andrea Ayunan and I am going to discuss the 562 essay. So we have here 11 ways on how to make good essay and I will be the one to discuss the 1 to 5 and Ma'am Charmaine will continue to discuss the 6 to 11 ways on how to make good essay. So first, what is essay? When we hear the word essay, what comes first to our mind? Like, essay is a written piece that is designed to present idea, propose an argument, express the emotion, or initiate debate. It is a tool that is used to present writer's idea in a non-fictional way. So first, we have here the comparing. A comparison in an essay compares and contrasts two things. That is, it points out two similarities and differences of two things. So we have here the example. We each did the homework assignment. Then we compared answer. So therefore, that is comparison. Second is the relating cause and effect. The cause and effect essay is a form of argumentative essay that details the effect relationship between two objects. Example: a man offended his neighbor by insulting him. That is the cause. So therefore, his neighbor becomes angry. So that is the effect. Third is justifying. When writing essay, to justify means you are required to state the reason and proven facts that support your view, and also to state and opposing facts and argue against them. So example, I might make a claim that the movie I watched wasn't very good. I would justify it by saying that the plot was slow and the characters weren't likable. So that is justifying. So fourth is summarizing. A summary is a synthesis of the key ideas of a piece of writing restated in your view of point or in your own words. That is summarizing. Generalizing. Generalization is one of the writer's strategy through which human extend the characteristic of an element compared to the objective writing. So, for instance, the elements can be people, animals, event, or other objectives. So, that is generalizing.
So we are done with the first 5 objectives of essays or questions, which are first comparing, relating cause and effect, justifying, summarizing, and generalizing. Now, let's move on and discuss the remaining objectives or questions. The sixth one is the inferring. From the word itself, it means that you are concluding on something which came from evidences or facts. Say for example, number 1, in the light of the facts presented, what is most likely to happen when? The second example is, how Senator X be most likely to react to bomb explosion after the bar examination last September? So as you observed, the questions are related from the evidences and the student will able to conclude, explain, and deduce based on the evidences. So another example, when we relate it to our field, which is the LE. So
Example, given the evidence says, which is more convenient to use, the traditional cooking or the electric cooking? So just put on your mind that inferring is based on the evidences which you are going to conclude. Okay. So the seventh one is classifying, meaning the student will classify or group things and etc. So say for example, number one, group the following items according to. Number two, what do the following items have in common? Or another example is, what are the following cooking utensils have in common? So, in this type of question, the student can classify the cooking utensils and know the similarities of it. So, the eighth one is the applying. In this type of question, the student will able to explain and apply the concept that he or she learned. Example, number one, using the principles of like algebra as guide, describe how would you solve the following problem situation. Next is number two. Describe a situation that illustrates the principles of SMAW in welding. So as you can see, the student should explain it, and also for me this type of question, or this is the one of the best tests on testing the student's knowledge because it focuses on application which are essential for learning. Okay? So the next one is the analyzing. So in this type of question, the student should use their critical thinking in order to answer. Example number one. Describe the reasoning errors in the following paragraphs. So in this first question, we observe that it really needs an analyzation because you can't able to identify and describe the following errors in the paragraph without analyzation, of course. So the second example, list and describe the main characteristics of like SMAW welding. So the 10th one is the evaluating. So meaning, you are going to evaluate its characteristics, but by how? So of course, you are going to evaluate by observing, describing, and etc. So example number one, describe the strengths and weaknesses of the following. Number two, using the criteria developed in class, write an evaluation of. So another example is write your evaluations in your mango plant. So in this question, of course, you must observe your mango plants in order for you to write your evaluations on it. As like what we did in our agri-fishery subject, right? Diba, we are tasked to write an evaluations in an essay form of our mango plants. So what we did is check our mango plants every day and record its progress. The same thing in this type, which is evaluating. You must, in order for you to answer, you must observe and write your observations in your paper. Then also, in writing, you can also describe the progress of the plant day by day. So, that are the possible questions or the example questions for this type of, or for the objectives of this essay. So, the last one is creating. meaning the student should create by the use of the concept on their own, or by the use of the concept that he learned or she learned. So example, make up a story describing what would happen if. So you are going to make your own story with the given considerations in the given example number 1. So next, design a plan to prove that. So another example, given the concept of validity, provide an example of assessment question in your own and explain why do you choose that kind of question. So kini di ba na example is we already learned about the validity and what are the things that make the assessment valid. So in this question is ma-apply na to ang atong concept na na-learned, and we are going to make our own assessment question. So as you observe, this is the last one and the most complex one for me, because it deals with your analyzation and critical thinking also in answering. So but always remember that in creating, the keywords are you will make it in your own. So remember that in creating, imuha na siyang sarili or lagi, you will make it in your own by the use of the concept that you had learned. Like sa akong mga examples na gihatag ganina. So in conclusion, essay type of test is an example of non-objective test. So when you say non-objective test, it means that it is subjective, meaning you are giving your own thoughts and ideas about the topic. Okay, then an essay test also needs higher thinking skills, because in answering essay, you are going to organize your thoughts before you will write it on your paper. So essay questions can be used to measure attainment of a variety objectives such as, so we have 11. The first one is comparing. The second one is relating cause and effect. The third one is justifying. The fourth one is summarizing. The fifth one is generalizing. The sixth one is inferring. The seventh one is classifying. The eighth one is applying. And the ninth one is analyzing. Then the 10th one is evaluating. And then the last one is creating. So, mauna siya ang among discussed earlier. So, that ends our report. And I hope that you learned something from it. Thank you for listening and have a good day, everyone. Thank you.